second one worked, so.
Yeah, alright, well, let's see if we need one. Let's see, 90.
Yeah,
I
just
just
need
92.
92 we have done.
Alright, let's try again.
$60. Damn, done that one too.
Well, Jesus, is there any that we haven't done?
There are. I should really, like, consolidate this list down to however many are left. Or just find a different list.
I think at this point you just need to pick at random from the ones we haven't done.
Yeah, that one's the one we did too. Okay, I'm just gonna scroll a bunch and then stop scrolling and see if I'm on one that I haven't done. Okay. Alright. Well, this actually is probably a good question to ask as we try to close in on a giant trove of like 1,000,000 fucking gold. What is one thing that you really want but can't afford?
The freedom to be who and do whatever I want. Unfortunately, while Mick still breathes, we've got issues. I'm working on it.
All right. Tinkuzai, what do you guys wish you had the cash for?
Well, currently Jinku only wants one thing, and she's been saving her gold, and I'm pretty sure she can afford it. And that's a replica of the captain's hat.
That's great. I would assume that you could probably afford a nice hat. That shouldn't be
the
too
only
bad.
thing she buys is pocket peanuts, and she has over 900 gold pieces, so...
Oh my god!
Yeah, our
whole
whole
party
is kind of loaded on the gold, except for probably Mix.
Well, she doesn't buy anything but pocket peanuts. It's, you know, Mix
Fair.
is always buying shit, and she don't buy anything. And
Fair.
I don't even know how much gold I have.
Well, what do you wish you could get if you happened to have said gold?
I have over 1,000 gold pieces.
Zai, we need to go shopping.
Yes, this is going to be the shopping trip session. We're just going to yoink ourselves out of, being chased by a, dragon in the water and just fly through the air off to the great D&D shopping Costco in the sky.
Like, hold up, dragon.
The Mall of Waterdeep.
Yeah. Surprise! The Marpanoth's a Spelljammer ship, and we're in space now at D&D Space Mall.
Maybe the dragon wants to go shopping. Does anybody ask?
I mean, if we offer to buy it something really pretty.
Maybe that's why it's so angry. Nobody's bothered to ask it if it wants to go shopping.
Wow.
But yeah, Zai. What you want?
Does Zai even like material things?
Not really. Like, she doesn't mind material goods, like, some nice clothes and, like, nice tea and stuff. But she doesn't really like having an excess of things.
Damn, you sure you don't want something extra cool and rare from the purple shop?
Zai never wants to step foot in there again. She's pretty sure she's going to get drugged and kidnapped.
and stuffed.
That's pretty sketch.
I guess in terms of things that she can't afford, maybe like a private island or a manor in the mountains so she doesn't have to deal with idiots and nobles.
Fair. Alright. Understandable. Cool. Okay. Well, who wants to give us a little rundown on what we got up to last time? Here's a lovely picture.
I feel like you're expecting a lot of us to remember anything.
I was entirely surprised about a dragon, man. I'm just like, what?
Right, I wasn't saying anything. I was like, are we supposed to know there was a dragon?
Oh dear.
The dragon, and Jinko was having a panic attack about being underwater.
Oh, I remember the panic attack because Zai is not having a fun time. But
here's another lovely picture.
Because our wonderful frog friend went to go get some loot, and I think that's when he happened upon the dragon.
well, Torda's not here to defend himself, so I say we blame him.
Good plan, I guess. But yeah, so last time you guys had gotten the last piece. Boo got a massive info dump of secrets, and you found out that the way to get to the vaults is supposedly in the Brandath Crypts over in the City of the Dead part of town, which you've been over there before, but hadn't been where this particularly was. But you Boo had recalled that there was, or I think it was Jinky recalled, because they were the one that always recalls random bits of information on those rolls for some reason. But I think it was Jinky that recalled that there were some parts that were needed to open the vault door. And so you guys were trying to figure out how to get those put together. You had one of them already, which was Alethea's Tear, which was it was kind of a sapphire brooch that was inside Silgar's bowl, Xanathar's goldfish. It was in there along with the last eye piece that you guys needed. But then the other two parts of the vault door riddle that you guys didn't have were bronze scale of dragon, and then also visage of that which you hold most dear, which I don't think we'd really gotten anywhere on that third one, at least. I think we had some ideas around, but hadn't really done anything. So, but yeah, currently we're trying to find something about a bronze scale of dragon. Torda had recalled that there was some orangey thing that you guys encountered in the harbor a while back, and you guys had gone down to what was it? Grizzles something, can't remember her name right now off the top of my head. Grinda Garloth, there it was. Grinda Garloth, who had a submersible that you guys had used before, but it was still pretty banged up from the last time you guys used it. She was in the process of fixing it still. But you managed to kind of go and make a deal with the drow that you guys have been kind of either at odds with or a little bit working with recently, and Captain Zord on his ship, the Eye Catcher, and he, considering that getting this piece was a part of being able to get the massive load of cash that he gets cut of, it was in his interests to help you all out as he could, and he happened to have a submersible of his own attached to the underside of his ship, the Scarlet Marpanoth. Kind of big manta ray looking thing. And you guys set off under the water, looking around, found some wrecked ships. There's quite a few of them down on the bottom of this of the harbor here from over the years. Torta went out, swam around, took a peek to see if he could see anything. Happened to find, some loot that was still around in some of these ships. Grabbed a chest, went to drag it out. Turns out something else had its eye on that stuff, and it is in the process of chasing you guys in the Scarlet Marpanoth underwater. And Zai and Jinky are having a great time.
No, we're not. Don't put words in our mouth.
But yeah. So that's where we left off. Mid being chased by what seems to be a dragon of some sort underwater after this stuff that Torta yoinked out of a wrecked ship. So yeah, so we're here on the Marpanoth. Zord is frantically working the levers and controls here at the front, trying to keep things going as fast as he can, zipping across kind of like the middle of the harbor here underwater. And this big orange dragon shape chasing you guys, it's pretty big. Like, the Marpanoth is pretty decently sized. Like, it's not a small submersible. Like, it was, close to being as long as, the Eye Catcher itself. So this thing's like, 50, 60 feet long. And the thing chasing you seems to be roughly similar size. It is also quite big. But yeah, looking out of the eye of the little kind of port eyes on each side here, kind of looking backwards, you can kind of see the shadow of this behind you, and sometimes catching the lights that are kind of on the Marpanoth, and maybe sometimes a little bit of sunlight from above the waves. What's the plan of action here? Just run, try to fight, try to make a deal? Like, what are you guys looking to try to do here?
Were we able to see what color it was?
Yeah, I mean, like, when Torta was in there looking around and initially saw this thing, like, yeah, it's definitely an orangey bronze color.
What do we know about bronze dragons?
Yeah, you can certainly roll something. You can roll. I think that'd be maybe like an Arcana, maybe.
Yeah, I'd say it could be argued Arcana, or if there's like tales of a specific dragon here, it'd be history. I'm equal for both.
I would say in your case probably Arcana, because I don't know how read up you would be on local folklore compared to just general mythical creature knowledge. Bronze dragons, 24, that's pretty good. Let's see. Oops. Let's see what info you know about them. Okay, so bronze dragons, you know that They tend to live on coasts. So this kind of area is, kind of where you'd expect one to be if there was one around. They like to feed on aquatic plants and fish. Sometimes they change their shape to other animals to observe things they're interested in. They like to watch ships up and down the coast. Sometimes, depending on the situation, they've been known to involve themselves in like naval wars. Sometimes they think they're interesting, and if there's a side that they like, they'll take a side and get involved. They think it's interesting and fun. But sometimes with their watching of ships and like things that are going on along coast, they are particularly interested in like the treasures and things on ships, and so they're often known to, with their being able to change their shape. Sometimes they get onto ships and sometimes make deals with people on ships for gold that they then take back down to their hoard. Sometimes they change their shape into animals and take things and take them back down to their hoard. So they are particularly interested in the loot of naval ships, and yeah, that's probably, yeah. They often like to so aside from ships that are like actually running, like like wrecked ships too, they like looting wrecked ships and exploring them, and kind of considering them part of their hoard. So yeah.
Well, guys, it seems like it's probably interested in us because of the type of craft we're in. So, you guys think we should try and fight or deal with them, or get the heck out of here?
And how would you suggest that we fight something underwater?
I'm magic. I don't really have to consider concepts like the reality of breathing and stuff like that.
It's magic, ain't gotta explain shit.
I'm a damn wizard.
I mean, if yourself, Torta, and Mix think you can take it on without Jinku's help,
why can't Jinku help?
She can't breathe underwater.
Well, neither can I. We've got to make this quick. Give it everything we have if we fight it, or we run away, or we could talk to it. Those are our three options.
I would say then our best path would be trying to bargain with it. I mean, dragons are highly intelligent. If we're going to bargain with any creature, that would be a good one to do so.
I suppose it's been a while since I've had the chance to speak with a creature that was close to being my equal. In intelligence, that is.
I'll pretend that was mainly geared towards Mix.
You pretend whatever you need to, Zara.
Alright. So, trying to make a deal with this. So, I mean, dragons being, magical creatures, how do you think, how do you want to kind of go about getting, to this dragon so it knows that you you want to deal.
Listen, I'm magic. I don't need to consider things like that.
Oh my god, we're gonna die.
Man, and he thinks he's the intelligent one. How sad.
Oh, he's a cocky son of a bitch.
I mean, we could always stop and try and, I don't know. Torta might be able to talk to it underwater.
Yeah, you could try something like that, yeah.
Well, probably less chance of the dragon being insulted if Torta talks to it.
Why don't we try that?
Okay. All right. So you guys are conversing all this, and Zord's been listening, and he seems to agree that perhaps trying to make some sort of deal with this creature is probably the better course of action for the sake of everyone's being able to continue existing. And so he begins. You see, pulls a few things, and you kind of feel the Marpanoth start to slow down, and he also begins kind of rotating it a little bit so that you're kind of more kind of side on facing the dragon, so the windows on the sides here, you kind of get like a full view of this thing. So he pulls that up here, and as he does so, like you see, the kind of dark, vaguely orange shape from the light continuing to come towards you all in the water, and it sees you all stopping here, and kind of pulling up. And let me get another map out here. So here's the Marpanoth in the water. There we go. All right. So you're looking out the window here at this creature as it gets closer, and like at first it's like a little hard to tell just because you are underwater and there's that kind of like underwater distortion going on. But it gets like pretty much right up to the kind of window bubble of this craft, and like this thing is huge. Like its head, like it's getting pretty close up in there, like with one of its eyes, like trying to kind of look at you all through the window of this, and it is like its head is definitely larger than this window. It takes up quite a bit, and it looks old. Like even just looking at its just its eyes, or just its eye as it looks through the window at you all, like you can just kind of feel the time in its eyes as it kind of looks through the window at you all. I'd say everyone go ahead and everyone roll me everyone roll me an Arcana check real quick.
Did you say Arcana?
Yeah. Okay. Boo, Mix, Zai, All three of you, like, you know, as you're seeing this dragon kind of peer in at you all, and you're just kind of, you know, sensing the weight of it. I mean, you've all heard of, you know, dragons before, but just like the sheer size of this one, you get the impression that this may be like a more ancient dragon than ones you've heard about, you know, just kind of in the overland that are sometimes around and sometimes cause trouble. Like this is a big one. And you all kind of hear this low voice in all of your heads. And, you know, it looks at you all and you hear, I believe you have taken something that isn't yours to take.
You know, that's probably entirely true. I'm not going to try and deny that. I mean, that happens kind of often. People run into that line of thought with us a lot. I don't know why.
Oh. So you are thieves then?
It's complicated. I don't know that I would exactly consider us thieves. I mean, are any of you guys thieves? I don't feel like a thief. Do you feel like a thief, Sarah?
I haven't been a thief for a long time.
Yeah, no, we're not thieves.
And, you know, Zord sitting back in the chair back there, it seems he's heard this voice too. He calls out, we are businessmen.
We're business.
Sayara leans over to Jenku and is like, this is going well.
This is a intriguing craft you have brought to my harbor. I've seen it around a little before. I can't say that I have seen one of this make in quite a long time. At least, not here. And Zord kind of pipes up, and he's like, yes, this is from quite a ways away, actually. I purchased it from the island nation of Lantan out in the ocean. They, you know, are quite fond of their automatons and clockwork techniques out there. It's quite a beautiful ship. But yes, they are quite expensive and quite rare. You don't really see too much of them around, especially not around in Waterdeep. I'm happy to say that, I think there's maybe only a few other of these in existence. And the dragon kind of considers for a moment, and he's like, Lantern, interesting. It has been many an age since I last was out that way in the trackless sea. But with a craft such as this, why do you scurry around the ocean bottom pilfering such meager treasures to yourselves then?
Are these guys generally neutral?
These? You know, just going off your previous Arcana rolls there, generally bronze dragons are known to tend towards lawful good.
Okay. Well, it's a tale. I'd be willing to share my story with you if you were willing to, listen and maybe not eat us at the end. Please.
That seems reasonable, but I mean, what aside from your lives, of course, it doesn't seem like there's much that you're getting out of this. I am reasonable. Is there something that you were looking for?
Well, yes. I think that the story and what we're looking for is fully intertwined.
Well, out with it then. Let's hear your story.
Who begins to tell the story about how they single-handedly saved that one guy that was kidnapped by the Xanathars while trying to prevent the, their hapless party members from screwing things up, and continues to portray how they single-handedly have stolen these other items and allegedly killed a family but didn't do it. And goes on. I'll tell the dragon the whole thing. Of course, exaggerating entirely because the only thing bigger than the dragon is Boozy Goat.
True dat.
Fair. All right. So I mean that just takes a little while, but the dragon seems to take an interest in it. Like you see it kind of floating out there in the water, just kind of lazily keeping itself afloat next to you all. And it seems to find this whole tale pretty interesting. I mean it remarks that I often have dealings with the various shippers and traders here on the coast, but Waterdeep has been fairly peaceful for quite some time, at least on the water side of things. I don't think we've had a good conflict really pass through our way in quite a while. So at least it sounds like things are staying interesting up on the land. And, well, at least in your endeavors here against corruption and the dark underbelly of the city, seems like you're making the right sort of choices in the grand sort of things, even if some of the ways to get about them may be questionable sometimes, but gets the job done at least. So where do I fit into this tale? Why not many bother to come down to the bottom of the harbor unless, they have already passed on their way down to the bottom.
Well, you asked if we were looking for something. We were looking for the tiers, right? Or no, the
bronze dragon scale.
Mm-hmm.
Bronze dragon. Yeah. So this is why it's so awkward. New friend, may I call you friend? One of the things we were happening to look for happens to be a bronze dragon scale or 5.
Oh.
And that's asking a lot, which is why I hoped that maybe the tale of my humble deeds as the you know, unwilling savior of Waterdeep on multiple occasions might entertain you enough to bless me with something so great as a scale from the great, well-known, guys, what's his name?
You never asked for one.
Bronze Dragon of Waterdeep Harbor. Ancient Bronze Dragon of Waterdeep Harbor.
You hear this kind of strange laugh in your heads, and he replies, "In your tongue, you can call me Zelifarn."
We are very honored to meet you, great Zelifarn.
So these scales, I have made deals with these before. Sometimes they are of interest to those above. What are you using them for? Is this some sort of great enchantment? Some deed? What are they being put to use for? I want to make sure they're not going towards anything uncouth. You understand?
All right, it's not often that I'm completely honest, but I'll be completely honest. We needed one to get into this vault thing I told you about. And, I mean, I am arguably the greatest wizard in Waterdeep. And so, just a couple bronze dragon scales in the pocket might help in circumstances where you find yourself as a wizard needing bronze dragon scales. You're saving people and whatnot. I can give you my word, they would only be used for good. Who is being honest?
Holy shit.
I don't think I've ever seen them be honest.
The Costanza defense.
And you see him, kind of pull his head back a little bit from the window here, and he considers your tale and what you've told him, and he's like, well, and from your tale of your deeds, and at least from the read on your souls seems well enough. You seem to be truthful folk, as much as you can be. Let's say, for the tale, and if you wouldn't mind returning that small morsel you snatched from the ship down the bottom.
What was it we stole from the ship?
I don't even remember.
It was a chest. It was a chest full of stuff that Torta had grabbed and swam off with.
Oh. Torta, what do you think?
Can we look in the chest first?
Yeah, you could look in the chest first if you want.
No, I'd rather not be disappointed by giving it back. We'll just give it to her.
Alright. Alright. So, for getting this chest back out to him, I'm gonna guess probably Torta's gonna have to be the point man on that one. I would think.
I can't breathe underwater.
Alright, Torta.
Yeah, I'll pull it out against my own judgment.
Alright. So, yeah, you agree to his terms there, and Zord stands up and goes over towards the hatch in the roof to pop it open and let Torta get out and make the exchange. And shortly the hatch is open, and of course the enchantment that keeps the water out is there. And so Torta, you had jump up with the chest out into the ocean.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So you hop up out the top of this here, and you kind of swim over down in front of the window here, so everybody else can see you. And especially out here in the water, like you can, like you're definitely getting a sense of the size of this thing. It is ginormous, and it kind of swims a bit around the craft and around you, and you see it kind of reach one of its kind of claws up, like back up under one of its wings, assumedly trying to grab a few scales off of itself. And it comes back around and goes right up to you here, toward him, and you can see one of its front legs with its hand kind of outstretched, kind of coming up beneath you toward him, and you're like, maybe the size of like a finger or a part of one, if that. And this kind of comes up and like rests under you, almost making like a platform right beneath you here, with his hand out, and resting right in like kind of the palm. You see a little pile of scales, 5 of them, as Boo had said. And he kind of holds it there, waiting for you to make your move.
I'll change items.
All right. So you let the chest go, and it lands in his palm there. You kind of gather up the couple of scales. They're a little heavy. I mean, they're pretty decently sized too. Like each one is like probably like most, probably like half the size of your torso in terms of like width and height. Like they're pretty big. But you managed to kind of gather them all up. It kind of helps that you're underwater and you can kind of use the there's a little bit of buoyancy to them, just because bronze dragons, they usually live underwater, so there's a little bit of that. But you gather them all up and you kind of make your way back towards the hatch. And this bronze dragon's kind of watching you the entire time, and you see it kind of close its hand up over this treasure chest, and all of you kind of hear a voice in your head. It says, "Well, if you ever have more tales to tell, I'll be here at the bottom of the harbor. Probably for longer than you will be." And he kind of chuckles a little bit, and he kind of turns underwater, and you see him kind of spread his wings a little bit and kind of uses them to do a nice burst of speed, and he kind of trails away off into the darkness and the murkiness of the water. Eventually the shadow kind of fades as he goes deeper, and you can't really get a good view anymore.
Man, I'm so glad I didn't have to kill that dragon for you guys. That would have made me so tired.
Among other things.
didn't have to jump in and save the day.
You understand.
And as Torta comes back in with these dragon scales, you can see Zord's eyes kind of light up a little bit at those because those are pretty valuable things. And he's like, "Well, that's certainly an experience I would be okay with not repeating. But it seems it was profitable for us in the end. I take it you got what you need for your little door problem."
Just enough.
Good.
Good. He's fully aware that he has said multiple times in front of the guy he needs one, and he's gotten more than one.
You roll an insight check for me, Boo.
I really feel like Boo should get penalties to insight. Bad dice rolls is enough.
As you're kind of mentioning that, like, we got what we needed. You kind of get a read from Captain Zord's face that he is also well aware that you have mentioned that you only needed one in the past, but there's also kind of like you almost feel like a hint of admiration in his eyes that you managed to get a few extra dragon scales off of an ancient bronze dragon. So there's some kind of like game respects game going on there.
That's the last thing Boo's ego needs.
Alright, can we quit stroking the ego?
Zord kind of claps his hands.
Their ego is just so large.
And shiny with dragon skills now. But Zord kind of claps his hands like, "Yes, let us get back to sturdier ground. I think I've had my fill of underwater excursions for the day."
Please.
And at that, Jinku finally throws up.
Beautiful.
Now we have to smell this the whole way back.
As you vomit here, like Zord's in the middle of sitting down, getting things ready to kind of turn back around and head back up to the surface under the eye catcher. And he sees you vomit, and he kind of lets out a little laugh and says, "Oh, I was wondering when that was going to happen." And he kind of points back at some of the rooms in the back of the ship and says, "There's some rags and things back there if you need to." And turns the ship around and heads back towards the eye catcher. And shortly thereafter, you guys are parked back up under the eye catcher, and he has opened the hatch at the top, heading back up into his main proper sailing ship. I assume with the scales, where are you guys putting those? Because you may not want to walk around the dock wards of Waterdeep with...
Sayara has her ever-present bag.
True. These are pretty big. Is your bag just a regular bag, or was your bag like a bag of holding? I don't remember.
If I lie and say it's a bag of holding, will you believe me?
I mean, in that case, I could just pull up your inventory.
I mean, she needs a bag of holding. Let's be real.
I feel like somebody had one.
You are
no one has a bag of holding yet.
Oh,
We haven't ever found one.
Oh, I thought somebody bought one or something.
I thought Mix had one.
I did too.
I thought Mix had one. That's what I was thinking. I thought I remember Mix buying one.
Maybe I missed that session.
I forgot to put it in my party sheet if I did. I thought I did.
I could have sworn we've used it before.
Yeah, because he was carrying a bunch of alchemy shit in it.
Yeah.
How much is a bag of holding?
You have to ask. It's too much.
When we had like that, when we went to the place with all the eyes, and we had like plan upon plan upon plan. When we met Captain Zord in the first place.
All I'm saying is that I have over 1,000 gold, and if I can afford a bag of holding, Zyara would buy a bag of holding.
We do need to go shopping.
Let's see.
If I remember right, it was like 1,500 or 2,000 gold. It was ridiculous.
Yeah, they're usually. Okay. I'm seeing a few, like, just from looking it up, there's like a few different answers, it seems. Like, some of them are, like in the range that you mentioned, Baza. Some of them are more like the 500 GP range. So, I mean, you probably could go find one somewhere, but, I mean, you don't have one right now, evidently.
Yeah.
And you're currently on some other dude's ship.
Well, I know Mix is wearing robes.
True.
Sayara has a cloak and a bag. So she could probably put one in her bag, one under her cloak. Mix can put one under his robes, maybe two.
Yeah.
Ooh. I've got robes. And I talked to Drakity. Why are we trusted Mix with this shit? You run off and make
Because you're very small and you can't possibly carry 5 dragon scales.
I'm very big. We could put one under my shirt.
That's true. No one would question it.
Yeah, just it's armor under your shirt.
She just ate too many pocket peanuts.
Or I had a nugget spree.
I could take out my blankets and stuff and throw it on one and just let the Tressum like cuddle up in it like a bed.
Yeah, I think between
Okay.
the party, we can feasibly carry all 5 of them home without them being visible.
Okay, I would say that's reasonable. Yeah, with the variety of shirt tucking, robe stuffing, down the back of your pants, whatever you want to do. Yeah, it seems like there's enough space for these. Like they're decently large, but there's enough of you that you could divvy it up. All right. So you get up into the ship, you get up into Zord's room, and you begin kind of awkwardly stuffing these into your clothing. And Zord, he's kind of seeing you all do this. He's kind of laughing a little bit under his breath, and he says, "Well, probably a good idea, especially around these parts."
Yeah, there's no way we're going on the docks with this shit visible.
Yeah. the docks, some of my men, as good as they are, I mean, and I've come across those sorts of things in the past, and they are certainly worth a pretty penny. So, yeah, you'd definitely keep those out of the eyes of anyone that you can until you get to wherever you're giving or selling them to or using them for.
And I assume we can trust that you won't tell anyone that we've come across these rare items.
Yes. I mean, we have the deal with the contents behind the door. It is in my interest that you are able to get there and get the contents behind the door to fulfill that deal that we made. I have no interest in messing that up in any way whatsoever.
I'm content with that answer.
So Zord lets you out of his cabin once you guys have sufficiently hidden things, and leads you back out down the docks, down to the shore, the coastline pier area, and bids you good day and hopes to hear good news from you soon.
Okay. So I assume we all get off the ship and head back towards Troll Skull.
Yeah. Yep. You guys, make it through the streets without too much issue. It's a little awkward here and there. There's a couple spots where you almost have to kind of catch yourself a little bit and make sure something doesn't fall out of a shirt. But you do get there without incident, and I assume head right upstairs to your private quarters with these, I'm guessing.
Yeah.
All right. So you're back up in your kind of common room on the second floor of Troll Skull. You've got the tier, you've got the bronze dragon scale and bonus. There's just that one pesky piece left, and then also, you guys haven't actually been to the door itself.
Not yet.
Maybe we should take one of those scales and sell it for your bag of holding. Or two.
Well, if I can find it for enough. Like if I can find it under 1,000 gold pieces, I can afford it. Because I have 1,090 gold pieces.
I think there's a bunch of gemstones you could take on our party sheet if you wanted to sell those off.
Probably. I just have to find somewhere that sells bag folding.
Oh, I found it in my notes. I asked the place and I couldn't afford it.
Ah. So no, none of us have a bag of holding.
Ah, okay. Let's see. Trying to see.
But I did spend 750 gold on a pet.
Yes.
You did.
Yes, you did.
Well, I
But
can
it was
definitely buy a bag of holding that we can use in the party if we can find some place that has one.
I'm looking through my party sheet and I got some stuff you can sell. It's worth a lot of gold. Should help if you get it. I have 850 gold between Essence of Ethers and a gold amulet. I could chuck in there.
He said it looks like we have some gemstones that we could probably sell off too.
Okay.
I don't know how much they're worth, but looks like we have some stuff just sitting in here that nobody's claimed.
I would say, Zara, just take whatever's in the party sheet, sell it all off. If you need more, talk. We'll figure it out.
I'm sure on the upper levels of Troll Skull, we have like just a room of loot.
Just start digging it. Couch cushions for the change.
Oh look!
Look,
a
raw emerald. How nice.
It was just in the armchair.
Look, a weird artifact with 3 eyes. That's probably worth something.
Put that in the
Okay.
couch.
Okay, there's 300 gold worth of spell books.
Yeah, you guys also do have like a whole buttload of spell books from when you guys raided that like wizard
We saw a lot of
interdimensional
them.
sanctum.
Oh,
And-
hold on. Those are like I gotta have those.
Yeah.
Boo doesn't have a
already-
problem.
Boo
Who
already
already laid claim over any spellbook that we come across.
Oh, those are general spell books. Yeah, you could sell that trash. I got the wizard spell books.
Yeah,
in mine.
I think you were the one you wanted. Yeah, we stole like a bunch of shit from that one dude's place.
Yeah, you guys have gotten quite a decent stash of things.
Do we still need teleporter rings?
I mean, as far as you know, those only work for the teleporters within Kolot Towers. That's what you originally got them for, or well, swipe them off some people for.
Well, they're considered a wondrous item, so I'm sure they could be reattuned to something. But if you're a nice GM, they're worth 500 gold apiece, and there's 2 of them. So between that and the spellbooks and what you have, there's your bag of holding.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, I mean, just selling all that junk alone will probably be good. And that's not even touching the scales, although those might be trickier to sell to your usual place.
Yeah.
But there may be places that you can make a deal with that might be interested in those sorts of items. But yeah, your other general trash. Yeah, I'd say if you guys head out in the town and sell that stuff, yeah, we could say, let's see, where is the party sheet? Oh yeah. Oh yeah, that's right. I forgot there was this book about flump mating rituals in here.
No, we can't sell that.
Oh, sorry. Very important.
That Boo grabs that really ashamed and runs upstairs.
So it's this world's lusty Argonian maid. All right.
Some of the shit we pick up. Do we really just take every single fucking thing we find?
Yes.
Oh my
Okay.
god.
I was trying to take the carpets out of the wizard dimension.
Yeah,
When we were in that wizard dimension, we were trying to take as much as we possibly could.
I mean, you guys did try to take a door once, so
Look, one
person tried to take a door.
And then Jinku smashed it.
and
I think we then also set it on fire.
It was Ivory, elephant person, principles.
Yes, but she never found out about the ivory chess set that I sold.
that is true. Alright, so let's see. Yeah, so if we say saw all that stuff and yeah, we'll be nice about the rings and things. Well, excuse me. We'll estimate maybe. Oops. We'll say 1,700 for the rings and the gems and the spell books and everything else and whatnot. Let me take some of these things out of the party sheet since we're selling them. That'll be faster. Delete. What was this?
When did we steal 3 pots of paint?
That is a good question. I have no idea.
We should probably put it in the attic. We'll probably need it.
No, it's been tested and safe. Paint your basement with it.
Let's see.
Oh, I could give it to the kids and let them paint my basement floor with it.
Don't give it to the kids. It's lead-based.
It might have mercury in it too if it's green. Or is that arsenic?
Where's this paint from?
Oh.
No, that's arsenic. They used to make like green wallpaper with arsenic or paint with arsenic in it.
Yep.
Oh yeah, that's right. Okay. There we go.
Same with green clothes. Lot of like Victorian women got like arsenic poisoning from their clothes.
Oh yes.
That I did not know. Huh. Wow.
Yeah, because arsenic makes like natural green coloring, and people used to be super stupid.
But it was like this beautiful green.
Oh yeah, it's a
like
beautiful
very-
green color.
Like you couldn't get this green doing it like any other way.
A green to die for.
Pretty much.
Yeah, exactly.
I thought all that gold was going to Zyar to get a bag of holding.
Whoops. Well, I guess.
So it gave us all 340 each. So just subtract 340 from your gold, and then Zyara add 1,700.
Well, 1,700 minus 340.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
All of you using
Well-
to undo whatever he did.
Well, okay, yeah. I mean, pretty much, yeah. If you just, yeah, I guess if we just undo that amount, we'll assume that it was sold and then immediately used for purchasing elsewhere. It takes you a little bit actually to try to find one of these. I mean, they're not like they're uncommon. They're not like super duper rare, but it's not something that like everybody everywhere would have. You know, they're not your usual Target bargain bin bag of holdings. So you actually kind of head around a few shops. Initially you try, like you're selling a lot of this stuff down kind of in the trades ward of Waterdeep. And you're looking around a lot of like the shops down there that kind of are somewhat magical items or goods or supplies related to that. And a lot of the stuff they have is just kind of like more common supplies. I mean, you ask around, and a couple of the shop owners are like, bag of holding, that's a bit of a pricier item. We don't really see too many of those around here, and as much as I would love to sell you one for the cost, I'm afraid that we don't really have them. You might want to try maybe some of the higher end shops up in the richer parts of town. They may have what you're looking for. And so you guys eventually kind of head up towards the kind of the castle ward, the more kind of well-to-do part of town. Some of the stuff up in your area or north of your area or northwest of your area is generally a pretty upscale part of Waterdeep. And after poking around a few different shops, you manage to find one that does have a bag of holding on hand. It definitely looks like it has perhaps been on an adventure or two before, but it's still looks pretty decent. It's got kind of an interesting kind of embroidered pattern on the outside of it. The leather of it just kind of looks a little, like it's seen some days. But you purchase it off the guy, and let me put that in your inventory.
How much was it?
We'll just say 1,500.
Okay. Just wanted to make sure that I had it reflected properly.
Okay, I put it in the party sheet, so you can just drag it into your stuff from there. So,
how do I get to the party sheet?
it's the button with like 3 people on it in the very top right corner. At least that's where it's at for me.
If you hover over it, it'll say party sheet.
It's right next to the combat tracker button with the cross swords. Under the tool menu. If you don't have it, that one clapped. There we go. Cool. All right.
Well, since we're out shopping, Jinku wants to go to the hat shop.
All right. All right, Jinku. So, we're in a nice part of town. There's definitely some haberdasheries around that specialize in fine hats for the good upper class people of Waterdeep. So you head into one, and there is just a wonderful array of hats on various little mannequin heads all over this store. All different styles and colors, small ones, big ones, ones with ornate feathers and inlaid things, simple kind of working day type hats. There's a kind of a middle-aged tiefling male behind the desk. He's kind of dressed up in this kind of fine, almost like a tuxedo top of sorts. He's very, very well dressed, very well put together. Definitely seems to know his style. And as you walk in through the door, a little bell chimes, and he kind of comes out from behind the desks with his hands kind of making these elaborate little motions, and says, "Ah, yes, welcome to our Emporium of Style. What can I do for you today, madam?"
Oh, my dapper sir. Yes. Yes, I'm so happy to be here. I'm looking for a very specific kind of hat. And she'll proceed to explain in very vivid detail the captain's hat. And explain how she would like a hat as close to that hat as they can get.
All right. And just for picture reference, there he is with his hat.
In all his glory.
But she also specifies she would like it with many more feathers.
Many more feathers. All right. So he, kind of looks you over, and he's kind of taking some notes down on a little notepad that he has as you describe this hat to him here. And he says, "Well, we could certainly get such a piece fashioned for you. I'll need to take a few measurements. We'll need to get this a little bit custom crafted to fit the size of your head, but certainly a doable prospect." And he kind of lifts out a chair from off to the side. It's kind of like tucked under one of the counters here, and kind of motions for you to sit as he kind of deftly unhooks this measuring tape reel that he's got just on his belt.
She will very daintily, which is probably the first time in her life she's ever done that. Sit down.
All right. All right. So you're there for it doesn't take very long. He definitely knows his craft. Like you can just kind of feel like just the whizzing of this tape, like around, horizontally around your head. And he kind of measures around the top a couple times, and he kind of walks around you on the chair, kind of eyeing you a little bit and thinking, and says, "Yes, I think I have all that I need for the hat you're describing, with the dimensions that you need, material you need, cost of labor, of course. Something like this would probably be in the realm of 250 gold pieces. What do you say?"
Oh, it's perfect, sir. Perfect.
Wonderful. Wonderful. Well, step right over here. We'll take care of the business side of things, and we'll get this in, and come back in, say 3 days. 3 days, and we should have that ready for you to kind of do any final fitting we need to make sure that this fits perfectly on your head.
Wonderful. It is such a pleasure being in your shop and doing business with you.
Likewise, likewise. And he kind of steps over to the counter here, and you do a little business here. So if you want to go ahead and just take that out of your party sheet.
Already did.
Already did. All right. And he takes the little piece of paper that's got the various notes about your head measurements, and you see him kind of turn around, and there's like a board on the back where he's got a few different kind of metal pins sticking out of it, and you see a couple of other papers that are have been kind of slapped onto those pins, kind of like you'd see at like a restaurant type thing. And he pushes your piece of paper onto an open pin there, and bows at you.
And Jinku's super excited.
All right. I assume you just head back to Troll Skull after getting that button.
Yep.
All right, sounds good. All right, so where we are right now, we're going to go ahead and take our little quick
the person that established this giant trove, which would be Raynar's father.
Good point.
We cut off Rainer's face.
I don't think it was Raynar. I think it has to be Raynar's mother, possibly, because it could. I mean, did we ever figure out why they wanted that locket so bad and what was in it?
Remember, what's her name?
The
She's the one.
side piece?
Yeah, side piece. I bet it's a. Do we have any like vestiges of the side piece?
No.
She was really nice. I don't mean to call her a side piece. I get.
You just don't remember her name, huh?
I understand.
Oh wow. Okay, yeah. I'm just remembering.
She's no better than a side piece, so I don't remember her name.
Let me find that real quick. Actually, that
a
was
long time ago.
I didn't know she had a name.
She did.
Didn't we go talk to her?
You guys did. You went and visited her. What was her name? Let me.
It was a very long time ago.
Let me find. Props for remembering that one.
I still think that it's Raynar's mother, but
I feel like we hardly ever use like inspiration, but like fucking take a fucking point for that. Whatever. Like, and feel free to use inspiration, by the way. I don't think we ever really have, but it's there. You could use it. Let's see. Where would that have been? That would have been. Oh, what chapter would that have been in?
I don't even remember why we went to see her.
I think it was because we were trying to get more information about Raynar's father.
Oh, what was that? I'm trying to find. Let's see.
It was so long ago.
I know it's in here somewhere. I'm digging through. Oh. Kalain.
Quite.
Ah, yes. Let's see. Let me find where she's at in the story here. I know there's a. Let's see. All story. NPCs. Kalain. Autumn. Okay, hold on. I think I found the chapter where that is. 4. That section. Ah, there it is. Converted windmill. There we go. Yes, so Colleen, she was a famously eccentric half-elven painter and former lover of Daggled Neverember. After separating from the Open Lord, she started painting monsters that, thanks to her ability to draw upon the weave, could come to life. When you guys were there and you'd visited her, there was like a variety of kind of ghostly, ethereal woodland creatures and things and stuff that she had painted that had come to life out of her paintings. She was incredibly paranoid. She lived in this like stone windmill in the sea wards of the northwest part of town. That was kind of in disrepair. So, at least from the encounter with her, what we remember. So, she was Daggled's lover on the side, and he broke their relationship off, and she was furious and is still madly in love with him, and that's kind of what drove her over the edge into what she's now. Just kind of a paranoid hermit painting weird magic art. So, I mean, at least from what you remember about this situation, if it were the other way around, then yeah, Daggett would be probably the visage. But he was the one who broke it off with her.
I'm telling you, it's Raynar's mother.
Well, is there a special bust of her or something you remember?
You could always ask Raynar.
Like I think that's why that locket got taken. Because I don't think we ever figured out why the locket was taken.
The Raynar's locket?
Yeah. Oh. Mm. Well, then I guess I am wrong with that deduction, but I still think it's Raynar's mother.
Yeah.
I highly doubt that it was Raynar himself, considering how Raynar talks about his dad.
Well, I mean, if anything related to his family, that's, you know, kind of your one resource is him, so.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I say that we go talk to Raynar. If nothing else, he might be able to point us in the right direction.
Cat stole my headphones.
The cat says it's his headphones now. He is now the dungeon master, and you are all gonna die.
Wow.
Well, GG.
That's a dark turn.
At least you got to order a real nice hat before it ended.
Look, I'm just saying, if you put Pumpkin in charge, everyone will die.
I wouldn't be surprised. Okay, so going to Raynar's place then is the plan?
Yeah.
Okay. Alright. So, you guys store your dragon scales in your loot attic and head out to the western side of town where Raynar's home is located. And you guys pull up to the door and give it a little knock. It's probably it's probably the afternoon by this point. And you knock at the door, and the door is answered by Madrick Salabuk, who is Raynar's butler. You guys have met him before. Very old, white-haired halfling butler. And he kind of cheerfully sees you all at the door and says, "Oh, yes, Raynar's friends. It's been quite a while since you stopped by. What brings you over to Raynar's side of town? Come in, come in."
Thank you. We were just hoping to maybe talk to Raynar about some things that have been going on. Catch up, you know.
Yes, of course. Yes, the business you're working on with him. Yes, of course. Come with me. I'll have you wait in the drawing room back here. I'll go fetch Raynar for you all. He leads you back to the drawing room that you guys have been in before. Big comfy chairs. And he heads off upstairs in the manor to find Raynar. And a few minutes later, he returns with Raynar in tow. Raynar's eyes are kind of bright with excitement. He says, "Oh, yes, it's good to see you back. Has there been any good progress? It's been quite a while. Were you able to find the rest of that artifact you were looking for?"
Yeah, we think that we've found just about everything, but we are stuck a little bit on a riddle that we've come across, and we were kind of hoping that you could help us out.
Ooh, a riddle. Word games, yes. I do love me some of these. How does it go?
So Zyara tells him, like, the entire thing, and then follows up with, it's namely the visage part that we are a little stuck on.
So you assume that this is the what my father would hold most dear. Is that correct? Since he's the one who put all this together.
That's how we're interpreting it, at least.
I mean, that seems reasonable to me. I don't know why it would be anyone else. I mean, I wouldn't think that he intended for this to be ever opened by anyone else, really. Well, I mean, if we were going with visages he held most dear, I mean, my mother would definitely be the most likely candidate, from what I would guess. I mean, we may not have her living visage anymore, but, then again, we didn't have it. He wouldn't have had that at the time anyways. Perhaps a painting or a carving of some kind.
Yeah, I think either of those would work. Do you know if there was any specific painting or drawing of your mother that your father was preferential to?
Well, I can't say that I am sure of one that was preferential, but he did have some fine, portraits of all of us in the family that were commissioned. There's another. They are actually in the dining room, on the wall above the table. In there, there's they did single portraits of all of us. There was his, and then my mother's, and then mine, and he had them set up above the table in kind of a triplicate up there. I mean, it's a decently sized painting, but not incredibly unwieldy. I mean, I guess he could have taken that, perhaps.
It's as good as guess as any.
Well, I mean, if well, where does it need to go? Do you know? If you're needing these for some sort of door, do you know where it is at? Outside the city, in some hidden away cove somewhere?
I don't remember.
If everybody go and roll a history check for me on that one. We'll see if Jinku remembers. Nope. It's not Jinku this time.
Don't remember shit.
Darned. Ruined the track record there. Alright, so, Boo, you remember very well since it was kind of blasted into your mind by the artifact. So that actually worked out pretty well that you rolled the way you did. Brandath Crypts is where the entrance to this supposedly is at.
It's in the crypts.
My family crypts.
Yeah.
Huh. I wonder where and there he would have hidden them. I've been in those many a time. Not aware of any sort of... Well, I guess it could be some sort of hidden door I was never aware of, but... Interesting. I wonder where...
Suppose there's a stone bust of your mother in the crypts.
I believe there might be in her particular tomb. Although, as far as I'm aware, it's carved in along with everything else. I'm not sure that can be so easily taken out. Seems
I'm
like
mad
like
at-
Well,
Don't worry about it.
unless her visage is the door.
It's certainly a interesting proposition that could be. And Boo, like you're kind of thinking back to this whack vision that you had, and here, let me get the description of that specific part up.
Great thinking, my son.
I know. Here we go. So, in the vision that you had, Boom, like you heard... here, let me read this specific part to you here again. So, you saw a tangled barrage of imagery, twisted underground tunnels lit by strange lights, a endless field of corpses, halls of stone, a golden dragon aging so rapidly that scales fall from its skin, the sound of a silver hammer striking stone, a beam of sunlight in a darkened room, and a chisel carving dwarven characters which transform themselves into two words, Brandath Crypts, and then a short little phrase following this that you heard, which was, "Where laid his wife to rest, midst bones of son's blood sealed, there where Henri laid himself to rest, lies that which open Lord concealed."
Oh, open Lord, because he was the one. His relationship was open. I get it now. All right.
Oh my god. So you mentioned this, this information that you had recalled, and you mentioned the mention about this Henri person in this saying, and Randar's kind of thinking for a moment, and he's thinking he's like Henri was I believe it was my great grandfather. I believe it was, if I remember the family tree correctly. I mean, his tomb is there, in the family crypt. Originally, it was in the largest one. He was the first one that was buried there. But I believe my father had him moved. The big crypt is my mother's tomb now. So perhaps in the process of moving great-grandfather's remains to the crypt where he is now, something was done in the crypt where they placed him. Some sort of entrance, perhaps. I can't say that I really have been to my great-great-grandfather's tomb that much. But I mean, if he hid something there, that certainly could be the case. I don't really know quite as much about it as my mother's tomb.
Well, shall we go desecrate some take an investigation? If you don't mind.
Try and be as respectful as we can.
Yeah, they'll try and be as respectful as they can.
Well, seems like a good enough plan to me. I mean, I'll come along. I mean, if you recall the last time you were there, you may have been harassed by the treant at the entrance to our crypts. It will give you less trouble if I'm there with you, and plus I can bring the painting of my mother along as well.
Yeah.
He didn't bother me at all. I just jumped over him.
Well, let's hop to it. Let's see if we could find the entrance to this thing.
All right.
Hop to it. I see what you did there, though.
I wink at Torta.
All right. Let me find. Let's see. I think there's an image here somewhere. Is this it? Yes. And check in here. Oh, I could have sworn there was a. Oh, where was it? Okay, I'm not sure where that was. Okay, so you guys, along with Raynar, make plans to meet up down at the City of the Dead, which is kind of on the eastern side of town. There's this large piece of Waterdeep that's all kind of walled off, and inside is all the big fancy crypts and tombs and whatnot of all of the families, or all of the kind of richer families and stuff of Waterdeep. You've been in here before. Last time you were here, you kind of snuck in. But, you know, it's during the day this time. You know, before you, I assume before, you know, in the process of going there and meeting up with Raynar, you go and get, like, a scale and the tier, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
We are prepared.
I figured. Okay. Alright, so...
Inside is prepared for bag holding within her normal bag.
Here we go. Okay. So, you come to the gates of the City of the Dead. You know, there's the guards that are posted there just to kind of keep people from causing trouble in there. But they see you accompanying Raynar. And, you know, as they come up, they say, "Ah, yes, Master Raynar, come to visit your mother's grave again, is it?" And Raynar kind of nods and says, Yes. Me and my friends here have to pay our respects." And, you know, the guards just kind of nod. Just kind of typical day-to-day interaction for them here. And you guys head on through into the City of the Dead, which is, you know, quite a... you know, beautiful area of the city, actually. It's, you know, almost kind of a giant park. It just happens to be also a park full of dead people. And, you know, most of them are housed in a variety of ornate crypt structures. it seems like a lot of the families have like these kind of small walled off areas, and then inside their little walled off areas they have, you know, different little structures for where people are actually interred. And you eventually make your way to the Brandath Crypts, which you had been to before. I already did share it. Here we go. So as you guys are kind of walking in through the kind of front entrance at the north end of the crypts, there is a large tree that's planted like right next to the entrance. And you can see it kind of like it moves a little bit and kind of turns in your direction as you guys walk in. And it sees you all with Rainarm. And you kind of hear this strange voice come out of the tree, and it says, "Rainarm, your mother was a lovely person." And then you can see it kind of, the tree's trunk just kind of turns slightly back, and it seems to kind of go back into a resting position. It seems to guard this place from people who aren't from the family. And you step into the crypts. So there's a few different buildings here. Some smaller ones around the sides, and then kind of a large central one. You know, the one of interest that you have kind of been in before is the Grand Crypt, which is a 2-story tall building constructed of marble with kind of Doric architecture, and you see the name Brandath carved in common above the doors. And then, you know, he mentions, you know, Raynar kind of mentions to you the where is it here? The one marked D is the oldest one in the crypt complex. And Boo, you notice above the doors on this one, where the Grand Crypt where his mother is at now, just says Brandath over the arch. This one, Boo, you see says Brandath Crypts. A couple of the letters are a little worn, and you also notice the letters are in Dethic, which is Dwarven runes, instead of in Common, which seems to line up with what you remember.
Well, this is the one we're looking for, I think. Supposedly there's untold possibilities of the future inside for us.
Indeed.
Who's got a really big smile on his face right now. He'll lead the way.
Yep. All right, so you head into this particular structure. Oh, okay. I'm sorry. I misread which description went with which one. Okay, so, and this was the case before. So this is the original crypt of the family, and this is where Lord Henri was originally buried. But since this was the original crypt and it meant a lot to the family, Daggle wanted his wife buried here, and this one, not the Grand Crypt, sorry, this one was where she was buried last time you guys were here, and you guys checked out her body for some stuff forever ago. So his mom is buried here in Henri's original tomb, and Henri's body had gotten shuffled off to one of the other smaller ones somewhere in this complex. but this is where he originally was. So sorry, I misread which one went with which letter there. Sorry about that. So the first crypt. In here, you can see that the stone in here is quite worn, but it clearly has signs of being like repeatedly renovated. So it seems like there's been like some work done on it, somewhat recently. Like definitely not like this year, but in recent memory there has been renovation work done on this one. And as you step inside the crypt, you see in the middle is Lady Alethea's sarcophagus, which you guys have seen before. It's clearly newer than the rest of the stone in the crypt. Like it's definitely nowhere near as worn. The top of the sarcophagus is kind of finely carved in her likeness. There's like a few different bouquets of wilted flowers. Well, maybe less wilted, more kind of dried up at this point. Flowers that are on top of this, and you can kind of see around the sides of the sarcophagus as well, where they've kind of fallen off as well. On the ceiling of the crypt, there is a very faded, chipped portrait that seems to have been kind of frescoed onto the ceiling here. And Raynar kind of, he's looking up at this as you guys are, getting into the crypt here, and he's like, that's my great great grandfather. That one's Lord Henri's. This was originally his tomb. But I think, despite my father disinterring the body and moving it elsewhere, he left that part mostly intact, at least. And you can see written in common around the kind of edges of this faded, chipped fresco of Henri Brandath. It says, "The beauty of our age in death is watched over by the spirit of her ancestors." So, some sort of memorial to Lady Alethea using this old painting that was part of the crypt as some sort of ancestral thing. Roll. Let's see. I'd say probably Boo and Mix. If you guys want to roll a history check for me, looking at this portrait.
Fuck portraits. Art is for bougies.
10 and 10. All right. So, looking at this portrait, you do notice that in the portrait, like the way he's standing, in one of his hands, there is a very distinctly dwarven design compass in one of his hands, as well as some symbols that are carved like kind of nearby into it that you don't quite remember what those are associated with. You recall that they were used by some sort of organization at some point in history, but you don't recall at the moment what those might have been. But you do recognize at least that the compass-looking device that he's holding is very dwarven in make.
Have we seen something like that? This sounds familiar, but...
Well, in terms of dwarven things, I mean, at least just, from the vision that you had, Boo, there seems to be some, dwarven-related stuff with this tomb, or with this vault. The vault was, I believe there was like a book or no, it was a letter, a report that you guys had found at one of the places you raided. I can't remember if it was, I think it might have been Kolot Towers, the report that was there. that seemed to understand that this vault where this stuff was hidden was originally created by the American dwarves that used to live in this area a long time ago. So, and then of course you've seen some stuff with like Dethic with dwarven runes in these visions about this vault door, and there was like the sound of mithril hammers in your little vision thing. So it seems like wherever all the cache is some sort of dwarven place.
Well, this is dwarven. Is there... What do you guys think here from this?
Let's see here.
You want me to start knocking down walls?
I don't know if we should knock them down.
We'll certainly check out the walls.
We might need to later. See what we can see along the walls. You check that one. I'll check this one over here. We will start like kind of looking,
Thumping on them.
Yeah, Torto's got a good idea.
Alright, let me see here. Alright, so go ahead and do a investigation for me, as you guys are checking around in here.
Oh!
Nice. Alright, so Torda... Where did I put that? Hold on. Just trying to find something here real quick. So Torda, you're going around kind of testing the walls of the crypt, and it seems that one of the southern walls sounds a little like hollower to you than the other ones do.
I'll make sure that I point this out to everybody. Like, I found the wall.
Alright, let's see. Alright, so you kind of poke around on this wall a little bit after you're kind of investigating it. And you seem to be able to, like, if you push in on it a little bit, it seems to almost kind of slot into a little bit of a groove in the floor. And you're kind of able to, like, once it slots into this groove, you're able to kind of get your like fingers on the side, and you kind of are able to push this to the side into kind of a recess in the wall.
That was kind of cool.
And there seem to be some stairs going downwards.
He just starts walking down the stairs.
Yeah, I'll follow.
Alright, let me just find... Where did this go? Trying to find what this map is named. That would probably help if I'm looking in the right section.
Is it named your mom?
Ha 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 ha.
Joe?
Joe. Alright. Is this the one?
I don't feel like he gave those two excellent burns the due that they deserved.
They were good ones. I will say. Okay.
Giving out more inspiration.
Okay. So the first thing is this. Here we go. Okay, let me share this one with you guys. There you go. Okay, so you're at the very bottom. Oh, I think it's doing the lighting thing. Let me turn the light. Don't use the lights. Don't use the lights. There we go. Can you guys see the whole thing there?
Yep.
Okay, cool. All right. So the first thing you notice toward them, just kind of stepping down the stairs here, is that like halfway down the stairs, it looks like there's been like an explosion of some sort. Like there's a fair amount of dust in here. Like the air is pretty dry. But there seems to be a recent explosion. You're not quite sure how recent, but it doesn't look, older than maybe a few months. On this first step, or on this like halfway down these stairs. Did any of you check that out at all?
Yeah, I'll take a look.
Hey, Scruffy. You're doing good. Okay. Torta, you take a look at this explosion, or the remains of this explosion. Do an Arcana check for me.
Oh, what?
Clearly the wrong person went to investigate.
Right?
You see Torta staring at this and he just starts drooling. Like, what the fuck is this?
Slowly puts ring on.
Right. Anyone else taking a look over this?
Boo is generally kind of following on Torta's tails.
Okay.
I'm gonna inspire that thing.
All right. Nice.
Much better.
Well worth the inspiration point.
Oh yeah, definitely. So, you recognize the style of this explosion pretty well, Boo. This looks like what remains after a glyph of warding goes off.
Oh,
Ooh,
hold on,
recognize this as
guys.
his own handiwork.
This looks like the stuff that I have on my bedroom door. and floor and ceiling and walls. Hold on.
This does not look like the tavern winches I've seen on your walls.
But
I will take the time to ritual cast detect magic, and then hold it. Wait. Would I know if a glyph of warding is detected on detect magic? I can't remember if it is or isn't. Like otherwise, and
I would say so.
Then I will use, I'll use detect magic and kind of lead the way, or at least just, be beside Torta rather than letting him be in front. Don't want to get caught with another one of these guys. These things will kill someone.
What was the radius and like how far out does that detect? Is that like what 30 feet or something, right?
Yeah, it's 30 feet. It's it's a ritual, or ritual cast doesn't matter, but it's a 10-minute deal. So as long as you hold concentration, it's within 30 feet. You can sense magic, and then you can use your action to see an aura around said magic, and then the school if it has one. But 1 foot of stone, 1 inch of metal, thin sheet of lead, or 3 feet of wood or dirt is enough to block that. It's not like giant magic X-ray vision.
That makes sense. Okay, so you're checking this out. You see that there's this glyph of warding that had gone off on this first step, and just from your knowledge of these things and having used many glyphs of warding in your time, this definitely seems like this went off somewhat recently. Like I said, within the past couple months. And as you're kind of stepping down a little further with your detect magic, trying to keep an eye on things, you see a little further into the tomb area here. Like as you're stepping down a little further, you can see that there's a few little various side holes where there's some coffins that are in there. So it seems like there's a few people that were buried down in this part. But you see that there is the remnants of another glyph of warding a little farther down the hall. This one, however, did not explode. You notice that it has been rendered inactive as there are several key runes of the glyph that look like they have been blotted out. So someone who knew what they were doing disrupted the glyph so that it couldn't go off. But the remaining strokes and runes of the glyph are still there, and you detect that. You also
I don't explain that to the group. That's specific knowledge that I do not share.
You also notice, so you guys are all in this. Let me put you guys on the map here. So let's see. There's Mix. Here's Zai. Here's Boo. I guess Boo would be up here. Torta. Jinku. Okay. So you do notice, so there's where you are right now, Boo, there's a couple coffins to your right, there's the coffin to your left, and right in front of you there's kind of a divot on each side of the hallway here, and there is there are some sconces on the walls where torches would be placed. There's not currently any torches there. It doesn't seem like anything has been burned there in a while. But you notice that the right-hand sconce has been ripped off the wall, and it's currently on the floor.
Is it like, can you tell if it's been ripped off by like a struggle or just age?
Do an investigation check if you're checking out that sconce. Okay. And from what you can tell, Torta, it looks like it, it got ripped off the wall. Like it used to be attached. It's not anymore. But you do see that there is like kind of an empty space behind it. Not a very big space. There's like a small kind of cubicle space, maybe like a couple inches square, behind where that would have been.
I'll put my hand in there, feel around. Is it?
You don't feel anything in particular in there. It's empty now. It seems like there might have been something that was there at some point in the past.
All right. What I'm trying to discern is if it feels like a shape or does it feel like just jagged? Like, was it carved for something to fit there? Or?
It does feel carved. It feels specifically carved out for, maybe like a small box, like a very small box, like a almost a jewelry sized box, like a ring box, that kind of size, like the size that you put like a ring in. But anybody else wants to check it out?
There's no debris around the sconce on the floor?
No, not aside from just, the debris of, like, the way it was mounted is it looks like there was, like, the sconce and the metal part of the sconce with, like, the ring for the torch to sit in was fastened to kind of like a flat piece of wood that was, kind of nicely carved around the edges. And then that wood was like fastened into the stone wall, and that kind of like carved, nicely carved wooden plate and like the sconce holder were all pulled out, along with the screws or nails of some sort that were keeping it in place. And behind this wooden plate, there was this carved cubicle little divot in the wall where something was at some point.
And I'll explain that to the group. Something's missing from this.
Another sign that someone's been here well before us.
Boo, do you check that out at all, that divot?
Yeah, I will. And maybe the other one. If I don't find anything, I'll look at the other one.
Sure. So looking at this this divot here, this little hole, with your detect magic, you very faintly feel kind of some of the similar vibes that you get off the Galore artifact. So perhaps one of the eyes at one point might have been here.
I see. All right. Your house is kind of down on its luck, Raynor. You want to see if there's any jewelry in these boxes? I'm sure they'd want you to use it for your betterment.
Raynor kind of, laughs a little nervously. It's like, well, I mean, we're doing fine as it is on our own. I mean, I don't want to disturb the ancestors more than I have to. I'm not really hurting for money at the moment. Despite the amount that my father may have hidden away, there was still plenty in the regular family coffers that didn't involve an entire expedition to find. So I think I am content leaving them where they lie.
Would you like me to disturb them for you?
If you wouldn't, that would be very nice. I don't want to incur anything undue.
Torta, Boo, we're not hurting for money either. I think we can leave things where they are.
I was just offering my services to the man. He's been a good friend.
I appreciate the gesture, but I think let's keep to the task at hand before we, if it comes to that and we have to dig around for clues, perhaps at that point. But for now, let's leave them where they lie. Seems there is more, further down the hall we can check out before we do anything drastic.
Alright, if you insist.
Boo, where? Let's see. Okay. Okay, never mind. Never mind. So yeah, so there's this, these two glyphs of warning. One that's gone off, one that's been disrupted, and a place where one of the eyes seems to have been in the past. This tomb area continues and then kind of veers off to the right.
I'll, keep my ears out, continue with detect magic, and I will put my familiar ahead of me, and I will make him carry the heavy stuff that I have.
All right.
Just so that he can trigger any, if he weighs enough. Who's willing to sacrifice the little bastard? But yeah, he'll go down to the corner,
sure,
poke around.
Sure. So once you get past where this little compartment in the wall was, you don't detect any other warding runes. But as you come around the corner, you begin to detect a, what is it here? What type? You begin to detect an aura of transmutation to the east.
Alright, come on guys, it's safe so far, but there's something going on up here. And where's the aura coming from?
So as you're coming around this corner here, so there's a few other kind of divots in the wall, and at the end of this kind of tunnel of this tomb here, it looks collapsed. It seems like this eastern end, it gets really rough, and the roof comes down pretty suddenly, and it seems like it's collapsed in on itself, and that's the direction that you are getting this kind of transmutation aura from.
Okay. I'll make sure Torta's close by, and then I'll move forward. Not that I'm scared or anything, I just want Torta to get the field experience.
What are you volunteering me for?
Nothing, you just follow along. Come on, buddy. Stay close by. Pay attention to the things I'm looking at and stuff.
hesitantly follow. Especially after seeing the explosion back there.
Understandable. So, as you continue kind of heading towards this collapsed end of this tomb hallway, Boo, like you are continuing to just keep getting this aura of transmutation, and as you get kind of right up to the collapsed area, like you're kind of feeling around, and you're surprised to find your hand just kind of goes like right through the collapsed wall.
Well, this wall it's like love.
I don't know if we're supposed to know what that means, but whatever you say, Boo.
See, you're learning, and I'll like walk through with confidence.
Kind of. All right, so you walk straight into this collapsed wall, which ends up seeming to be an illusion. Like as soon as you kind of step through it, you see that the kind of tomb hallway here continues on normally a little ways, and there is a intact archway here that's kind of ornately decorated in the keystones around the arch, and there is a just kind of a simple steel door in the archway that looks very recent. Like this archway and this door all look significantly newer than anything else in this tomb. Looking at the keystones here, like you can see that there's kind of depictions of some various gemstones and some dwarven symbols, and looking at the steel door, you don't detect anything odd about magical about the steel door at all, or the arch or anything. The magic's all behind you now, the collapsed wall. But yeah, it seems like this perhaps was just a regular steel door that got put here for some semblance of security by Daggelt, probably. But there's nothing weird about it, just a door.
Let's open it. Let's do this.
Alright. I assume you use, knock or something?
If it needs me to, yeah.
It does. Yeah, it's locked.
Yep.
Okay. Alright, so you use knock. The door swings open, and beyond you see a 10-foot wide hallway that slopes downwards.
Before we push too much farther, since we went down into the ocean, have we slept and stuff?
Yeah, we'll say you have.
Okay, good, because Boo's damn near dead. So
yeah, I mean, yeah, you guys have. Yeah, at the time of between you guys going around doing ocean stuff, there's definitely been enough time that you guys have taken a good sleep in there at some point. You guys were just running around a bunch.
He will continuing forward.
All right. Sounds good. Let me find what the next map is. Hold on. Okay. Let me just uncover. Oh, hold on. Not that map. I have got a better, cooler looking map than that one to use instead. Let's see, is this the right one? I think this one's the first one, if I'm reading this right. Oh, no. That one is first. Okay. Let's share that one. And let me get everybody's tokens on here. There we go. Okay. So, you guys head down the hallway here. And about, it slopes down about 10 feet on the stairs. And then continues a little ways beyond that. And about 15 feet down the hallway, and the hallway still kind of slightly slopes the whole way. Like, it goes down the stairs, then it kind of levels out a little bit, but keeps sloping downwards. The stone construction, like, changes completely. So most of this so far has been kind of a, kind of a fanciful Doric type crypt stone structure. But then once you get down this hallways away, the stone, like, carving and the way that it's laid and everything looks completely different. And Boo, just like with just your general knowledge of things, this definitely seems to be more of a dwarven persuasion of construction down here. And about 50, like, for the next 50 feet or so down this hall, the walls of the hall are covered in what appear to be graffiti, you assume? All in Dwarven. Some of them are painted, some of them are carved. If you like, you can try to read them.
Yes, I actually have this. Hold on. This is useful. A phrase book that makes it easier for me to understand Dwarven.
Cool. All right.
Yeah, it's Dwarvish phrases. Allows a character who doesn't speak Dwarvish to communicate on a rudimentary level with friendly dwarves. So I'd imagine they might contain graffiti type phrases if they were, like, common or something.
So, you got your phrase book out here quick, and you're looking at the wall, and it seems like a lot of these graffiti are kind of like almost kind of like amusing personal secrets of sorts. Most of them are kind of lighthearted. So, like, you see one that says, I use rot grub paste to dye my beard. You see another one that says, I tasted pixie dust in the third hall. You see another one that says, my beard quivers for Lorelei of the Stonecutters. Things of that sort.
Same.
But yeah, this kind of just like random, minor secret type graffiti of, whoever these dwarves were that built this place. Seem to have kind of left their, I was here type mark. And these kind of continue on. for about 200 feet of just all these random little silly secrets until you end up where you guys are on the map right now, which is the hall kind of comes to an end, and there are some a pair of doors at the end of the hall. These appear to just be kind of like simple stone doors. You don't sense anything magical about them at all. Just some regular closed stone doors.
Okay, we'll try and open them.
All right. You push on the doors, and they seem to open without too much trouble. Like it takes a moment. They kind of seem to a little caught, just from accumulation of dust and age and things, kind of grit getting in the way. But you'd manage to get them swung open, and beyond you see a large chamber. Oh, here, let me unlock the token so you guys can move around. There you go. Alright. So, this appears to be a large antechamber. It's about 20 feet wide. Now 30 feet wide. And about 30 feet high. And it's, as you step in here, there's almost kind of a silent stillness. As you step into this vault, it seems to be kind of suggestive of the age of the place. And on the far you see on the back, towards the back of the room, there is let's see here. In the back, there is a large pair of doors made. You aren't quite sure what the material is. It's not stone. It's some sort of metal. You don't really recognize what they're constructed out of. But you do sense that there's some sort of magic to them. I'm trying to think what school that would be. I'm not sure. I'm not sure what D&D magical school like sealing type magic would fall under. But it would be whatever that school is.
Whatever a glyph of warding falls under.
Let me see.
I would say. Is that abjuration?
Abjuration, yes. Abjuration. Yeah, you definitely sense some serious abjuration magic going on here with these doors. And interestingly, these doors are like carved with these massive dwarven runes. Like they're taller than a person. And I have a picture of this. Let me get you a picture of this. This is pretty cool. Let's see. There you go.
Nice.
So there's these massive dwarven runes on these doors, and on the floor you see that there is a kind of a carved relief of a sun shape. And interestingly, there's like you're not quite quite sure where it's coming down from, but like somewhere up in the ceiling, there's this like pinpoint shaft of what you assume is sunlight, probably, coming down and striking this like sun carving on the ground. And then next to this like sun carving, there are these kind of like just kind of very slightly bowl-shaped indentations. From your little dwarven tourist book, you're reading the runes here, and Boo, this door says, "All that lies within belongs to the silent keeper." And you recall from like your vision, you remember seeing these doors in their little info dump vision, Boo. It seems these may be the doors that this the stuff you brought pertains to.
The stuff.
The stuff.
This is it, guys. I think. So where do we put the things to open the door?
Well, I mean, there's this kind of area on the floor, it seems.
Start putting the things there.
Okay, so there's like a somewhat like kind of slightly indented, like bowl-shaped indentation on the floor, and then there is this sun carving that has a very slight pinpoint beam of light coming down from above onto it, and then there is another indentation on the other side of that in the floor. So
maybe put the dragon scale in there, so it opens.
Okay,
I'll do that.
all right. So you place the dragon scale on the sun shaped one, and as you set it on there, like the sunlight little pinpoint that's coming down from above seems to kind of strike this scale and shimmer off it kind of brilliantly, and seems to kind of refract this sunlight all over the door. So that seems to be a reasonable spot for it. Maybe you stick in the Aletheatir and the painting in the other one.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So you set these both in the ground and kind of stand back for a little bit, and nothing seems to happen.
Did we mess up somehow?
Time to cut my face off.
I don't think you should cut your face off.
And you know, like you're standing there with Raynar, and like, he's kind of thinking as well, and he's like, it wouldn't have been me, would it?
Maybe.
I guess it depends on how your father really felt about you.
Well, I mean, I guess
At the time.
At the time. I mean, I guess it's worth a shot. And so, Raynar goes over and he kind of sets the painting of his mother aside and stands in the little divot in the floor. And, a moment after he does, there is this ringing noise that kind of echoes through the antechamber here. Boo, it kind of sounds familiar to you, like you recall in your little vision, the sound of like a mithril hammer striking something. It kind of sounds like that. And the doors begin to slide back into the walls on either side.
What's in there? Is there golden shit in there?
Behind, you see kind of more antechamber, and then there also seems to be like a passage leading downwards to the south. You kind of look back, and you see like Raynar is still kind of standing there in that little indentation, and he seems to be crying.
Well, I guess if you ever doubted how your father felt about you, now you know.
I guess so. I never really knew that he felt that way. I mean, ever since he left, I didn't really think he cared. But I mean, sealing away something like this with me being what he held most dear, I mean, it doesn't seem like something you could really lie about.
Yeah, he must have really loved you at the time.
Well, he kind of is, wiping some tears from his eyes, and he says, I mean, I can only hope that's still the case. Well, shall we see what lies beyond?
We've come this far.
We have indeed. And with that, this is a great spot to stop at for the night, since it's 10. With the door open.
The door!
Yay!
And we'll see
It's
what
only
goes on.
taken us how long to get here?
Let me see.
12 billion years.
I mean, this is the 50th episode of this. Let me see when was the first one.
Forever.
D&D Dragon Heist. Oh dang, that has episode 1, November 17th, 2019.
Jesus.
Almost 3 years.
Wild.
Good D&D games take that long to play.
Good stuff. All right, well, we'll pick this up next time. What is it? That'll probably be July. Yeah, it will be July then. So we'll see you then. Thanks for coming, you guys. Have a good one. I will see if there's anybody I can send you to. Scruffy.
Talk to you guys later.
Yep.
See ya.
Go.
Good night, yo.
Night, everyone.
Looks like Drake's going. We'll read Drake and see. Read. Drake takes. There we go. Cool. Well, thanks for coming, Scruffy Wonder. Always good to see you around. Send you off to Drake Takes. Looks like they're doing their D&D game here, too.
He joined the Discord too.
Oh, yeah, he did. Nice. I'm pretty sure he's in Quick's Discord, too. I think he was in some of Quick's other games, if I remember right. Off we go. Whoop.
So, out of curiosity, since we just got raided by Moogle Muffins. Hey, what's up, Moogle Muffins?
Yo, party of one.
Party of one. Hey, it's a raid. It's a raid.
Welcome, welcome. Just in time.
Just in time to end. Quint's gonna